Plus, Presec Legon cements its place as undisputed champions of the National Science and Maths Quiz following victory over Chimota and Opokuwari schools to win the trophy for a record 8th time.
Very excited about this, and it's very nice that you have worked so hard, you have put a lot of effort, and you have also prayed to the Lord and committed everything to His hand, and He has granted us the victory.
My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Let's get down to the story. Special Prosecutor Kissie Jabeng has directed the closure of investigations into the conduct of former Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Eduboahin, for corruption and related offences. Charles Eduboahin was caught on video demanding huge sums of money to introduce some businessmen to President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Bawumia. But after months of investigation, the OSP has concluded that despite trading and influence peddling, the actions of Charles Eduboahin did not amount to a crime. A member of the Legal Affairs Desk, Raymond Akwa, joins me in the studio with details. I mean, he's actually head of Research Desk. Raymond, give us the background that led to this investigation of the OSP into the matter.
So you do recall that Tiger IPI, Anas Arema Yas's grouping that do the investigations, actually commenced this investigation in 2017 in respect of Mr. Eduboahin. He was then a Deputy Minister of Finance, and the investigation was aimed at ascertaining whether Mr. Eduboahin was engaged in the perceived corruption and corruption-related offences that really is a problem in the Republic of Ghana. What Tiger IPI said to the Special Prosecutor was that they had received several complaints of bribe taking, and also several groupings had come to them and complained that the very institutions in the Ministry of Finance were acting in ways that were inappropriate. Fast forward, they finished their investigation. They did a report, it was released, right? First, a write-up in the ministry, in the newspapers. They all went to watch. You do recall, I sat by you in that particular place when we watched this interesting one. When it was released, we were told that they had submitted a copy to the OSP and the other groupings to actually investigate. Now, it was at that time that the gentleman, Charles Eduboahin, who was a deputy minister and had been elevated, let's not get it wrong, this is investigation done in 2017 and was released later on. He had then been elevated to Minister of State. If you do recall his new position, Minister of State, which is now being occupied by Mohammed Amin Anta. So he was elevated to that position. Then the president sacked him from the place, then referred the matter to the OSP for investigation. Then the OSP was supposed to investigate corruption and corruption-related matters connected to the conduct complained of. So in a sum, the OSP then had to find the facts of the matter, then come to some conclusion on it.
So what was the investigation that was conducted by the OSP? I mean, the substance of that investigation.
So the OSP had the responsibility of perusing the reports that was submitted by Tiger IPI, as also complained of by the president, so that they will get to determine whether any conduct at all of Mr. Eduboahin had any relation at all with the mandate. And let's not forget this one. The OSP's mandate is primarily to deal with corruption and corruption-related offences.
True.
So whichever reference that has been made to it should sit within that particular space.
Yeah.
The OSP says, I did not only deal with Mr. Eduboahin, all others that were named or named in connection with this report were equally called upon to come and provide some evidence after painstakingly going through the issues that have been raised and thoroughly dealing with the issues that have been raised. I called the individuals, I spoke to the other parties involved, and I realized that this was a sting operation by the investigative team. among other things, to determine whether the man indeed takes bribes or engages in the kind of corruption or corruption-related offense that we are talking about here. Then when I reviewed the data submitted by Tiger IPI and also engaged the people who are related to this matter, my conclusion was that the very responsibility I have as an institution, which is to find that the gentleman is involved or had done something that was involved in corruption or corruption-related offenses, could not be upheld.
So what's the explanation by the OSP that no criminal offense has been conducted by Mr. Dubois?
Brilliant. So what he did is that he said, though the conduct of Mr. Dubois amounts to trading in influence or influence peddling, those keywords, trading in influence or influence peddling, which is closely associated with corruption. Again, as I stated earlier on, OSP's business is to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. But it says here, even though this is closely associated with corruption, there is no actual criminal prohibition of his acts, in respect of which the OSP has a mandate to further act. So that means what Mr. Dubois did, at least according to the documents and the reports from Tiger IPI and the one forwarded by the president, there is no criminal prohibition of what he has done. It is not a crime. It is not prohibited under any stated law.
Okay.
The very thing that he's referencing here, trading in influence and or influence peddling. So that is what the OSP said. Then they moved on to say that on the reckoning of that, the special prosecutor directs the closure of this, at this time, of this investigation in respect of the allegations of corruption and corruption-related offenses.
Okay.
That's still the allegation.
And
involving Mr. Charles Dubois, contained, and that's the basis for which this is important, contained in the investigative documentary titled Galamsey Economy, which was published by Anas's team.
And he concludes by saying that there is no criminal offense conducted by Mr. Dubois, correct?
No, he says what he did is not prohibited by law. I hope you get my point. So currently, is the belief of the OSP that the laws of this republic do not make this an offense that I can pursue him on in relation to corruption and corruption-related offenses.
Okay, but I know that the OSP also talks about the fact that, within his terms of reference, that means that other criminal bodies or other security agencies can take up the matter. That is where I bring in lawyer Martin Pebu. He's a constitutional lawyer, on whether there are other possible offenses that the former minister could be charged with. Mr. Pebu, I'm grateful for your time. First, let me gauge your mood on the OSP's conclusion on this matter.
Okay, yeah, Aisha, the conclusion that for now the docket be closed, for me, it's not satisfactory. Not at all. You see, it's on the back of the definition that corruption means don't use public office for private gain or profit. So if we use that simple definition as sanctioned by our laws, I'm suspecting that they would say, that OSP would say that to the extent that Mr. Dubois collected veritable $40,000. That's at least about 500,000 Ghana cedis today as shopping money. And we all know that's not shopping money. Actually, it's for a purpose, for the role he was going to play. That's corruption. It's because of his public office, he's been given that $40,000. And he took it. And so that's a private gain, because when he got into Ghana, he didn't disclose it to the government for the government to take it away from him under gifts. So maybe if he thought it really was a gift, then as soon as he got into Ghana, he should have gone through official channels and look, I was given this gift. Let the executive say, oh yes, he can keep it. But to the extent that he pocketed that money, that's benefiting from a public office. Don't use it for private gain or private profit. So I don't see how we can say there's no corruption. No, I don't.
Mr. Pebu, what are the specific provisions of the Constitution and what are the penal consequences that it attracts if there is any offense, actually?
Yeah, so you see, that's you can see even from my dressing that I'm out of the country. I've been trying to get the amendments to the Criminal Offences Act, that definition. You see that recently we've done amendments to the definitions of corruption, bribery, okay? So amongst them, we are taking the simple one that says that don't use public office for private gain. Don't. So if you are involved in using your public office for private gain, I don't know what else it is. I wish somebody said, maybe I wish this were done like an hour. Perhaps if you're doing this later on, 1 hour later, we can read the provisions so that we analyze. Because for me, the key thing is that, and Mr. Jabin is not running from it, Mr. Dubois took $40,000 in the context of his office as a minister of state. That surely will count for corruption. It is not just influence peddling. Listen, influence peddling is a very broad term. It encompasses so many things. So the fact that there was also the matter of influence peddling doesn't wash away or doesn't delete the corruption aspect. The influence peddling side was, I will take you to see XYZ. That's he could arrange to see the vice president and then the president. And even in that context, he said they should pay what? $200,000 to be able to see the vice president, right? So when you say something is influence peddling, it doesn't mean that that same thing cannot amount to corruption. Because what we are talking about is that he received $40,000. That $40,000 was because of who he is as a minister of state at the Ministry of Finance, and that he was going to organize a meeting with the vice president. And then apart from that, he had also negotiated a deal to receive 20% of the $500 million investment. So is that not, what do you call it, private gain? So apart from the 40,000, let's explain this. When you say gain, the money must not necessarily, that's the rest of the 20%, the 20%. It must not necessarily hit Mr. Dubois' account before you say there is a crime. No. The moment you start discussing it, the two of them plan. When the two of them were planning conspiracy, yes, conspiracy, the two of them, that he would give, the sheikh says, I'll give you 20%. Then the Dubois says, no, sorry, the sheikh asks the Dubois, what does he want? And he says 20%. Yes, it's in that realm.
So now that the OSP has exonerated the former minister, should the matter be allowed to rest?
No. I don't think so at all. Far from it. In fact, the debate is just beginning. Today is Tuesday. I'm sure as we start pulling out the laws, look, let's have this conversation again 24 hours from now. Let's pull out the laws and read them out. As I said, right now, I'm not in the mode in the position to access the laws. I'm getting fresh ones. Let's have this conversation tomorrow. Let's continue, bring in other minds. Let's do further analysis. You see that, no, this docket should not be closed. I see corruption and see it clearly. It's not just influence peddling. Influence peddling doesn't end the matter. He has taken $40,000. By now, the first thing OSP should be doing is that Mr. Dubois should be directed to return the $40,000 to the OSP before close of 72 hours. That's the first thing that he should be doing. How can Dubois retain the $40,000? Are we serious? Mr. Jabin should be asking Dubois to return the $40,000 to OSP or bring it to OSP straight. And then let's go back into this docket. This is a clear case of corruption. It's not just influence peddling. No, let's get serious.
I'm grateful for your time. Martin Kwebu is a constitutional lawyer. Meanwhile, Charge Commissioner Joseph Whittal believes the passage of the Public Officers Conduct Bill will ensure corruption in the public space is curtailed.
For 10 years, you know the Commission has been sponsoring the Conduct of Public Officers Bill.
Yeah.
When we say there is no law, there is actually a bill that has been in and out of Parliament for some time. that would administratively deal with the conduct of public officers in areas that are not necessarily criminalized. Now, the law doesn't mean that if it's not criminalized, it's no law. There are areas of the law that need administrative sanctions, which can be as biting and even more effective than criminalizing that aspect of the conduct of a public officer. And so this is the opportunity for us to remind government and all other stakeholders that, look, the issue of conduct of public officers in terms of the bill that is presently before Cabinet is a very critical issue if we are going to fight corruption from all angles comprehensively.
Right. So this bill, I'm guessing from your response that really that would have been the solution. If this bill had been passed into law by now, we could then have seen a prosecution for someone who, like you said, takes advantage of, a public office to, enrich themselves.
Not necessarily a prosecution. It can be an investigation that would lead to administrative sanctions. Under the bill, there is a provision clearly on trading in influence. And it's attended with a number of sanctions, including removal as happened in this particular case, among others. But don't forget, the Commission has also got a broad mandate in respect of corruption. So while the OSP may be limited because it has to deal with corruption and corruption-related provisions under the Criminal Offences Act, ours is broader. So we would not have stopped investigating this case because of a limited jurisdiction in corruption.
Military is reported to have detained 8 persons from Garu and Timpani in the Upper East region after allegedly subjecting many of the youth to physical assaults of an alleged attack on their men on Sunday. Garu DC Osman Musa and Timpani DC Isako said the 8 were selected out of 16 suspects after a screening and later airlifted out of the area for further interrogation by the military unit. This is after the National Security released a statement explaining their actions. Let's share with you details of that statement. We'll be bringing you that later. Meanwhile, the Upper East Regional Minister Stephen Yakubu has been to the community to assess the situation there. Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Story has been following up for us. He joins us shortly. Albert, what's the latest with the regional minister's visits to the area? What were the highlights of the visit?
Yes, so the regional minister, Stephen Yakubu, was in Garu yesterday afternoon. He basically wanted to get first-hand information on the incident, also see the victims, those who sustained injuries and were in hospital, and even those who were discharged. He was also meeting with chiefs of the communities where people were beaten. And so basically he went there to give them assurances that, what happened would not happen again. Because what he said was that they understood that many of the young men and even the older men in the community were staying away from their homes for fears that the soldiers could return. And so he basically told them that the soldiers were not going to return and attack them, and so they should come back to their homes. He also promised that those of them who were in hospital would be given some money to support their medical bills. And so these were basically the things that he wanted to do. He said that for those who had been arrested, he couldn't, just tell them that they were going to be released, but he was sure that once investigations were concluded on the reasons for their arrest, they would definitely return home.
And how have residents been responding to this?
Yeah, so for many of the residents, even when the regional minister were there, they were still very angry about the incident. Remember, Garu is one of those communities or those areas where you rarely hear any sort of bad news. And something like this is very new to many of the residents who were angry about it. And so, for instance, there was a patient who sustained a head injury and a chest injury at the same time and had to be transferred from the Garu Presby Hospital to the Tamale Teaching Hospital yesterday morning for further medical treatment. This is a patient who was not charged with any crime or even arrested. And for him to sustain those injuries for no reason was a source of anger for his family and even the residents of the area. It's the same for many of the people who are in hospital because they feel that they were beaten and punished for nothing at all. And so for many of the people of Garu, they are hoping that, the government does something about this, especially to take care of those who are in hospital, those who have had to pay medical bills for something that they did not do to themselves. And so these are some of the concerns that the people of Garu had.
Albert Story is our Upper East correspondent, and definitely we'll bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletins. Let's get into politics. And flag bearer aspirant of the governing NPP, Dr. Usefri Akoto, says he is capable of breaking the odds for the NPP in the 2024 elections. Over 200,000 delegates will on Saturday elect the party's presidential candidate for the next elections. He is, however, warning any attempt to subvert the will of the people will be disastrous for the party. Elton Brobe's report.
Out of 958 delegates, Dr. Owusu Efie-Akoto pulled 36 votes in the Super Delegates Conference in August, enough to secure him a seat among the table of 5. According to him, he went into the election hoping to make the first 5.
So our strategy was to make sure that we are in the 5, and we are in the 5. And this coming forth is a totally different ballgame altogether, because we are talking about 20 times
the number.
Yes.
So how do you respond to those who say that this clearly is a reflection of what is to come?
Oh, well, I think it's a misjudgment.
But why do you think that it can change?
Because the delegates down there are totally different from their leadership. Their leadership have disappointed them. I'm very confident that those down there who have suffered so much for this party will take the right decision. And that right decision is to choose also Efie-Akoto as their flag bearer.
But after engaging more than half of the 900 super delegates, he was shocked that only 36 voted for him.
Fear the delegates, yes, and that's true. But the thing is that for me, talking to out of the 958 who voted, at least I can say that I spoke directly to more than half of them to convince, to sell my vision for the party and for the country. And I was very sure that at the end of it, they bought into my vision. At the end of the day, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So Usefri was right, that you fear delegates. But in the case of the 220,000 delegates, I don't think I've interacted with even 10% of them. Except that you rely on the structures that you build to get your message to them.
But the insincerity of the delegates is not his only concern. The former Food and Agriculture Minister tells me the entire process was skewed in favor of one candidate.
The reasons given by Mr. Tremartin for quitting the contest to start with before coming out to say that he's no longer with the party, those are very solid ones, and I'm very sympathetic to those. See, the implication of all this is the unity of this party. If we are not seen to be having a level playing field, after 4th November, it's going to be very difficult to unite the party against the NDC. And for me, that is my worry. Because if people feel that they have not been fairly treated, how do you expect them to cooperate with the party after the contest when they feel that they haven't been treated well.
For 8 years between 2009 and 2016, Dr. Afi Yakoto served as a member of parliament for Kwadaso in the Ashanti region. He was made food and agriculture minister when the MPP won power in 2016. During his 6-year tenure, he spearheaded a government flagship program planning for food and jobs. The son of the late Asantehene linguist Bafo Akoto is counting on his strong roots in the Ashanti region to prepare him to victory. But he faces challenges there because the regional chairman, Bernard Nchibu, also known as Chairman Wontumim, has thrown his weight behind the Vice President, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia.
The delegates down there have no respect for the conduct of the regional chairman. And his impression that he creates that he is in charge of the delegates will be proven on the 4th of November. Whether the kind of percentage that his candidate got will be repeated down there is still something that we have to wait for. But I'm confident that the message I've given to the people of Ashanti and to the rest of this country, the delegates know that this is the man.
Dr. Afi Yakoto is hoping victory this weekend will help him reform the party and make it battle ready to win the upcoming 2024 general elections. This, he noted, would also enable him to have the mandate to pursue sustainable policies that are aimed at renewing the hope and confidence of the MPP fraternity.
We want to bring fundamental reforms into the MPP. We are not in a good place, and I'm the first to admit. And also the way the party is managed. We have rules and regulations which say that if you are a party official, you don't define or come out to say that you are supporting this person or that person. And look at what is happening. The whole government, the whole parliament, the whole party, most of the party, people, managers and so on, have come out openly to say that they support one person. And it goes against the rules. So that alone should tell you that there's something wrong with our party. And for me, I'm very unhappy.
For those who have worked closely with him, he is the best man for the job. Peter Otendakon is a close confidant.
I would describe Dr. Akoto as a go-getter, somebody whose words are sacred. If Dr. Akoto says this, take it as a contract. He means every word that he says. And Dr. Akoto is a very serious person. He's somebody who is an authority. If he says, let's deliver this, he will ensure that you deliver to the latter. That is Dr. Akoto.
Elton Brobe for Joy News.
I'll get on to Zoom and pick the thoughts of political watchers on this development. Dr. Asasante is a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. He joins us with more. Doc, first, what do you make of the complaints coming from all three contenders of the vice president in the upcoming delegates conference that it is skewed in favor of the vice president?
Yeah, Aisha, good morning to you and your viewers. I think you and I cannot doubt what they are saying, because remember, those who are contesting are, true party people. Their ears are on the ground. They have their delegates and all that. So I have no reason to doubt what they are saying. In any case, if you're listening to, you put your ears on the ground or you're listening everywhere, you realize that the party has been quiet with all these allegations. And for me, that is a worrying sign, because from where I sit as a student of democracy, I believe that the things that they are saying and others who are also outside the MPP bracket are saying, if care is not taken, then we are likely to undermine this democracy that you and I have fought for us over the years. I'm so worried. Come to look at the issue of corruption that they are talking about, that using of money to induce people and all that. I am so surprised that up to date, nobody has responded from the party to Mr. Kennedy Agyapong. And he is going ahead to dare them that if you do this, I will come out with this. He's saying a whole lot of things that border on corruption, where people are being bribed money here and there. They induce them with vehicles and all that. And I am surprised that well-meaning people of the party are quiet and nobody says anything about this. I am also surprised that we have very eminent people in positions of authority are quiet about this. The OSP should be interested in all the corruption thing they are talking about within the party. He should be interested in. Not only that, but of course, the Attorney General should be interested. Ghana Bar Association should be interested. Issue of Muslims, Association, Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission, Christian Council, all this eminent group of people who were put together to serve a purpose for electoral commission, where are they? And all these things are being said. What they are telling Kennedy Japan and all those who are complaining are telling us that this is the situation within the party. And you can say, or I can say without fear of contradiction, that it doesn't bode well for a meaningful democracy. A democracy where people are, now using money to bribe people is the way to go, as opposed to messages, as opposed to what issues. Then what type of democracy are we building? Are we firming this democracy? We are undermining the democracy. Issue of people playing ethnic card. Some will
say it's just an internal elections, but the bigger picture, I think, could be how dangerous this will be if the party does not address it, especially as we know one of them has had to contest as an independent candidate because of same reason.
If anything is wrong, it is wrong wherever you find it. It doesn't matter whether it happens within the MPP, it's intra-party election and intra-party campaign. It is wrong ab initio. So we must take steps toward address. We must talk about it and nib it in the party. Remember, the parties are those which grow to become governments of the day. So if this is what is happening, all right, and we don't talk about it because we say that yes, it's peculiar to MPP, then I'm afraid we are playing ostrich here. Because then what happened to the national one? They complain about issue of intimidation. This is a very serious matter because come to think about it, whatever is being played out, if it is true and it comes to the national one, it's going to be moved to another level. Is that what we bargain for as a state? So this must raise an eyebrow now, and then we must move in to deal with it head on. Look at Dr. Koto, listen to him from your network talking about that there is no level playing field within the party, the election they are going to. This is a serious matter. And I am worried because these are the ingredients of free and fair election, that there must be equal playing field for everybody to contest for election and all that. So if people from the word go believe that the level playing field is not even, then I'm afraid what type of results are we expecting from the whole exercise?
Yesterday,
it's about the fact that the rules of the game are not being adhered to. This is a party that prides itself of being a democratic party, a party as people who believe in rule of law and the rest of them. Why are they throwing the rules to the dogs?
Listening to one of them, Adainimo, yesterday, he spoke about the fact that if the party doesn't deal with this, it may affect their mantra of breaking the eight. I mean, what has this got to do with their fortunes in 2024?
For the person to win the election, then who is going to campaign for the person? Who is going to support the person? That is where the man is coming from. That is going to be because immediately after election, there are always problems. All that you need to do to be able to mend your differences and come back strongly to go and fight for the campaign. But if you have a broken home and there is no effort to fix it, and that when it's getting to election, you want to make any move at reconciling people, I'm afraid. Then we go back to Johnny Nash's music, that why do you break my heart? Why do you apologize to me when you have broken my heart already? That is where we are likely, that's the situation we are likely to face.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Kwame Asasante, he is a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. there. Where to stay is on the Joy News channel, your election headquarters. Let's get on to other stories. The Electricity Company of Ghana says it cannot accept blame for last Thursday's power cut in some parts of the country. On October 26, the Ghana Grid Company Limited, GRIDCO, in a statement explained that the cause of the outage was due to limited gas supply to Tema, leading to a shortage of 550 megawatts at peak time. But the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, which is responsible for the payment of services rendered by the West African Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, has absolved itself of blame for last Thursday's power supply challenges. Managing Director of ECG, Samuel Dubik Mahama, on PM expressed disappointment over GNPC's handling of the matter, saying the press release was unnecessary.
Conversations concerning WAPCO and GNPC, this is not the first time ECG has had to step in and bail, When they didn't shut down, the next day WAPCO had taken the gas. ECG stepped in again and provided some good amount of money for WAPCO to, to turn back its operations. We managed it in such a way that nobody even felt it. Now, fast forward to this. I remember receiving letters from them concerning the payments, and you haven't given us what is due us under cash waterfall. Every single person or every single entity under cash waterfall complains about not getting enough. But if you clearly see their bill, when cash waterfall is doing its denominations, it's in Ghana City. So GNPC, clearly, there's a plan for GNPC to make up whichever shortfall it is. Now, again, legally, ECG has no contract with WAPCO. So the CWM is a suggestive approach.
With Instacart, you can get groceries and more delivered from over 1,000 stores and 75,000 locations. So whether you need a massive haul from a wholesale club, everyday essentials from your go-to supermarket, or specialty items from your favorite local grocer, you can get whatever you need delivered in as fast as an hour. You can even shop for pet supplies, electronics, and sporting goods in just a few clicks. Visit instacart.com to get free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
Something on a monthly basis, or even let's say on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, to pay these bills. What is